Live from
Welcome
Cleveland,
back to the NFL
this is the
Draft.
2021 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
Welcome back to Cleveland as we continue. The Cincinnati Bengals have made their pick. Roger Goodell will be coming out to announce it shortly. I think if we take a look at this, you will see how desperately they need help on the offensive line, Booger McFarland, to keep their young quarterback safe.
Greeny, if they don't draft an offensive lineman, they're committing malpractice. The last time we saw Joe Burrow, his knee was going the wrong way. You have to protect your franchise quarterback. They have to take an offensive lineman.
There are two of them tonight, Mel, right, that seem to be a cut above the rest, Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater.
They are. Penei Sewell opted out, as did Slater, didn't play. Penei Sewell, I think about a year and a half as a starter, was almost flawless at Oregon. There's some things he needed to improve on that he didn't have a chance to because he opted out. So people say, well, he's not Orlando Pace, Jonathan Ogden, Tony Baselli. He didn't have a chance to be. He didn't play this year. But I think this is the thing. Do you protect Burrow or do you get a weapon that can take a top off the defense, something they don't have right now?
What do you think, Lewis?
Yeah, look, I would always build it inside out, front to back. I say it over and over and over again. Get the offensive lineman. It's going to be awful tempting, I think.
Roger Goodell is making that walk. Bear in mind, Joe Burrow can't really lose either way. Do they get him a weapon, maybe his old teammate from LSU and Jamar Chase, or do they get him the protection up front that he so desperately needs in Cincinnati? We will find out right now. Here comes Roger Goodell with pick number 5.
With the 5th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU.
Wow. Look, he's a terrific player. Let's start with that, Booger. I understand your feelings. Many people will feel the same way. They should get protection for Joe Burrow, and maybe as the draft goes on, they will. But you know better than anybody from LSU, this is a special receiver.
Well, he's a special receiver. He's an X-receiver. You can put him out there against the best DBs in the NFL and say, hey, I'm not going to run motion for you. I'm not going to do anything. It's going to be one-on-one coverage, and you can go out there and win, Greeny. He can do it all. He's big. He's physical. He is absolutely fast. And, Greeny, here's the thing I love about it. There's not anything he can't do. You say you want a guy that can go deep. He runs 4-3 against Terrell. Over the top, touchdown. Strike up the band. The Zebras are going to raise their arms. You say you want a guy that can run routes against Patrick Surtain. We think it's going to be the first DB taken. Look at the separation on an inside slant route against Surtain. So you have the speed. Now you have the route running ability. But the thing that I love is the competitiveness. When the ball is in the air, it can be the offensive ball. It can be the defensive ball. But I want a guy that can go up and make the contested catches, and he can do it all. Snatching the ball on top of the defender's head. Give me that ball. That's my ball. So he's everything you want in a number 1 receiver.
It's an interesting point. You can question the decision, but you don't question the player under any circumstances. Mel, last year, many people thought that was the best top of the receiver class we had ever seen. If Jamar Chase had been in that class, where would he have been?
Right there at the top. You think about where he is right now with Joe Burrow, back with Joe Burrow, 20 touchdown passes Burrow threw to Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase from 2018 to 2019 made dramatic improvement. He had some drops in 2018. Who came in? Joe Brady came in, worked with the receiver, got that offense going. Jamar Chase eliminated the drops in 2019, became a great player. I think he has pro day, ran 4.38, 6'1.5", 200-pounder vertical with 41, Boog.
Yes.
This is a case where you say, okay, you got Riley Reif, a veteran, to be the right tackle. You got Jonah Williams, former first-round pick, to be the left tackle. Penei Sewell would have played guard. He would have played guard as a rookie. They can get one in the 2nd round. That's probably what Duke Tobin, player personnel director, feels. We can get that type of player, that interior guy, in round 2. We won't get a guy with the skill set of Chase. Now, I'm big on Devontae Smith. He's my number 1 receiver. Chase was number 2. But I get the whole Burrow to Chase deal, and they needed a receiver who could stretch that defense, because guess what? Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are really good. This guy makes them a lot better.
I just think about Burrow played 10 games, 32 sacks. He was on pace to be sacked 51 times. I just can't get that out of my head. Love the player. Love my LSU guy, but I just can't get that out of my head.
Let's see what they do in the coming rounds.
Gotcha.
I address the offensive line.
Lewis, speaking of Jamar Chase, who does he remind you of?
The way he plays, he reminds me of A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans. Now, A.J. Brown is 25 pounds heavier. Jamar Chase is 0.2 seconds faster. But if you watch how they win, they both win with strength. These guys, pound for pound, are still going to be some of the toughest people to cover in the NFL because of their strength. Here, you see the ability to separate here as far as a route runner. You see him run the stutter go. It's just beautiful. Watch A.J. Brown. He can do the same thing. Again, although he's bigger, he can win this way too. That stutter go is not as nice as the one Jamar ran, but nevertheless, it still has the same effect. This is where they are very similar. Their toughness over the middle and the way they can play with strength. Here you see him just run a little option route. You see him catch that contested ball. Now he's gone. Now you see the 4-3. Now you see the open field running skill that you cannot arm tackle a guy like this. A.J. Brown is a beast. When you talk about catching slants over the middle, just look at this guy. This guy looks like Mr. Olympia playing football who can also run sub 4.5. And he's going to just kill you with his run after the catch. These two guys win very similar ways. Look, Joe Burrow has to be happy, but get him protected.
Yeah, I got
Get him protected.
Right now, guys, let's go down to the stage. Snickers takes us down to Susie, who's standing by with Jamar.
Greeny, this has been Jamar Chase's dream since he was 8 years old. What's it like to be on this stage?
It's a blessing coming true, being out here with my family, experiencing, having this good experience. But, for the most part, I can't wait to get to work with Joe and back at the Bengals and the staff, so I'm ready to work.
All right, so now you're reunited with Joe Burrow, such amazing production. What do you need to do to be able to reach that type of production at the next level?
Yeah, I need to keep the same mindset that I always have, keep working, keep being competitive, and I think that'll take me a long way, stay on the right road.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, you mentioned the partnership with Joe Burrow. They become the first teammates in the common draft era that were quarterback wide receiver from the same school that both got drafted in the top 10, and you see on your screen why that is. In their 26 games together, they were remarkably productive. Now,